Welcome to this chilling tale of suspense and horror. Tonight, I'll share a story that delves into the eerie and unsettling events triggered by a mysterious book. Join me as I recount this terrifying journey, where an innocuous find in an old library leads to unimaginable horror. Let's dive into the story. In an old and dusty library that seemed untouched by time, I stumbled upon a peculiar book. It was bound in black leather, its cover unadorned, except for a faintly embossed symbol that I couldn't quite recognize. The library's silence felt oppressive, as if it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The book, with its weathered edges and mysterious aura, seemed to call out to me. As a writer always searching for inspiration, I was intrigued. I picked up the book and, despite the sense of foreboding, decided to take it home. I hoped it would spark new ideas, never suspecting that it would turn my life into a living nightmare. The moment I opened the book, a strange chill filled the room. The pages were filled with cryptic symbols and passages in a language I couldn't understand. Despite the strangeness, I began reading. The more I read, the more I felt an inexplicable connection to the book. It was as if the words themselves were resonating with a part of me that I never knew existed. At first, the changes were subtle. I began to notice peculiar coincidences. Objects moved on their own. Shadows seemed to flicker in the corners of my vision, and I felt an unsettling presence in my home. I dismissed these occurrences as mere imagination, but they grew more intense over time. My friends and family began to experience odd and terrifying incidents. My closest friend, Sarah, found her belongings scattered in her apartment with no explanation. My brother, Michael, started having recurring nightmares about a dark figure that seemed to follow him wherever he went. Each event seemed to tie back to the book, though no one but I had any direct contact with it. Determined to understand what was happening, I delved deeper into the book's contents. The more I read, the more I realized that the book seemed to control reality. The descriptions of events in the book began manifesting in real life. I was caught in a nightmarish cycle where every page I turned seemed to bring new horrors into existence. One night, I awoke to find the book open on my nightstand, its pages turning on their own. The room was colder than usual, and I could see my breath in the air. The dark figure described in the book materialized before me, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. It reached out toward me, and I felt a paralyzing fear, unlike anything I had ever experienced. Desperate to end the torment, I tried to destroy the book. I burned it, shredded it, and even attempted to drown it, but it always reappeared. It was as if the book was alive, feeding off my fear and despair. My attempts to escape from its influence only seemed to make things worse. The book's effects spread beyond my home, affecting those around me in increasingly disturbing ways. People started avoiding me, and my reputation as a writer suffered as my stories took on a darker, more sinister tone. In my darkest moments, I wondered if there was any way to break free from the book's grasp. I researched ancient rituals and sought the help of occult experts, but nothing seemed to work. The book continued to weave its malevolent influence into every aspect of my life. As the days passed, I found myself consumed by the darkness that the book had unleashed. My attempts to live a normal life were futile, as the book's influence continued to invade every corner of my existence. My once vibrant relationships had deteriorated into mere shadows of what they once were. The few people who dared to come near me were haunted by their own set of inexplicable misfortunes. One evening, as I sat alone in my dimly lit study, I noticed something peculiar. The book lay open on my desk, its pages fluttering as though a breeze had swept through the room. Though the windows were tightly shut, the symbols on the pages seemed to write and shift, as if alive, taunting me with their enigmatic power. Driven to desperation, I reached out and touched the book, determined to confront the malevolent force that had taken hold of my life. As my fingers brushed the pages, a searing pain shot through me, and I was plunged into a vision of chaos and destruction. I saw scenes of suffering and torment, each more harrowing than the last. The figure from my nightmares appeared once more, its eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. In the vision, I was led to an ancient, forgotten library, its shelves lined with books that seemed to pulse with a dark energy. In the center of the room stood a massive, ornate tome, larger and more imposing than the book that had cursed me. The figure spoke, its voice echoing through the chamber with a chilling resonance. It revealed that this book was part of a larger collection, bound by dark forces that sought to manipulate and control those who dared to read them. As the vision faded, I was left with a grim realization. The book was merely a conduit for a far greater evil. The true source of the malevolence lay in the library of forbidden texts, a realm where ancient, dark entities were imprisoned. Determined to end the cycle of terror, I resolved to find and destroy this library. I embarked on a perilous journey, guided by the cryptic clues embedded within the book. My path was fraught with dangers, both physical and psychological. Shadows followed me relentlessly, and the line between reality and nightmare became increasingly blurred. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, I discovered the hidden library, a decrepit and eerie place that reeked of old parchment and decay. The tome from my vision was there, sitting on a pedestal as if waiting for me. With trembling hands, I approached it, prepared to confront the darkness once and for all. As I opened the tome, a powerful force erupted from its pages. The air grew thick with malevolent energy, and the library seemed to come alive with sinister whispers. I fought through the overwhelming fear and read the incantation inscribed within, a spell designed to banish the dark entities and seal the library forever. The moment I completed the incantation, the book in the library began to disintegrate into a vortex of darkness. The evil that had plagued me for so long was being drawn back into the void. I felt an intense, overwhelming release as the oppressive weight of the curse was lifted from my shoulders. As the last remnants of the library vanished, I was left in the cold, empty space of the abandoned building where it had stood. The nightmare was over. The book's influence had been eradicated, and the dark entities that had tormented me were no more. With the darkness finally behind me, I returned to my life, forever changed by the harrowing experience. I vowed never to forget the lesson I had learned about the power of forbidden knowledge and the dangers that lurk within the shadows of our world. The book was gone, but its memory would remain as a chilling reminder of the fine line between curiosity and peril. And so, I share my story with you, not just as a tale of horror, but as a warning, a reminder that some secrets are best left undiscovered, and some books are better left unopened.